All right then, welcome back, everyone. Um, I am not in control today. Uh,
Nope, it is me, the Red Ranger from Lupin Sentai. I know I said it wrong, but it's you guys get the idea. So right now, I'm taking control of the channel, and I just wanted to rant because I watched Power Rangers since I was a little kid, and I've always loved Power Rangers. And then I got interested in Super Sentai, which is Japanese Power Rangers. For those who don't know, Power Rangers is based off Super Sentai. Super Sentai came before Power Rangers. And so I watched Power Rangers Cosmic Fury, and I had some problems with it. And so I got a list of things that I'm going to rant about. And Kashmir, if you hear anything and ask for, you can go ahead and ask for
I,
like an
I, I,
explanation.
I probably will. Yeah. I like the most I know about the current dilemma with like Cosmic Fury is that one of the I believe like either the voice actors or like one of the executive producers. I think they have an issue with them constantly using Super Sentai footage because it limits the
Yes, that's
story that
actually
they
one
can
of the things.
do. Yeah, so Jesse here actually has a list. I was gonna check it twice to make
Oh hell yeah, I am.
sure to explain his points better than I can. Cause
Yeah,
he called me like I was out of town. He called me straight out of nowhere, like, "Hey, I need a rant."
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
All right, now first things first. My very first thing was that Power Rangers Cosmic Fury was too short. So the series itself on Netflix now was 10 episodes long. But with all the information they give you, especially at the beginning of it, it could be made into a really good series. And given more time and more prep, it could have been a really good series. It was like they were speed running everything. In like the first episode, the Rangers are fighting Lord Zed and the Morphing Masters are captured, and then the Rangers immediately lose their powers and get stranded on a different planet. And then it's 2 episodes of those Rangers stranded on this planet with no Ranger powers, and then they get new Ranger powers and go to a different planet to find another Ranger.
Hmm.
And then that was the next episode. And then after that, they try to go back to Earth, only to find out that there's giant fortresses, essentially, or giant drills that are stopping the Rangers from using their Megazords. And when they say, but here's the thing, they said that it was happening to all the Rangers, as in there was more than just one team. And it was proven that there's more than one team when you see Billy Craston chilling with the Dino Fury Rangers, and Mechanic from Power Rangers Ninja Steel was also wasn't with the Rangers but was helping them as well. So that means there was more Ranger teams. And after that, it was just kind of like them speedrunning. They immediately took out one of the big villains, and then they immediately took out one of the big villains, or the big villain's child, or second-hand man, essentially, and then just kind of like kept going with it. Next, yeah, it was really, really fast
So that
paced.
was all 10 episodes. Like that was the 10 episodes, right?
That was
Or
essentially the 10 episodes. Like the last 3 episodes were essentially, oh, by the way, Lord Zed has the power of the morphing. Oh, spoilers for those who don't know. Sorry, I forgot about that. I probably should have mentioned that first. Heavy spoilers,
you
because,
probably should.
like I
Yeah,
said, I'm ranting.
probably should have. But
But yeah, sorry if I forgot. It's just I'm actually heated because, like I said, I watched Power Rangers growing up, and then I went to Super Sentai. I like Super Sentai more. There are still the OG Power Rangers that I'm just gonna hold up like slightly higher. But in like the last 3 episodes, Lord Zed was telling the Rangers that, hey, I'm going to absorb the power of the Morphing Masters, and the Morphing Masters are these omnipotent beings that allow Rangers to become Power Rangers.
right.
Lord Zed absorbs all the Morphing Masters and becomes so powerful that the Rangers are like, hey, this guy is too strong. How about we combine all of our weapons to make a cannon? They make the cannon, fire at Lord Zed, and you think, oh, the Rangers are going to do it. No, Lord Zed just literally, the attack doesn't even hit him. It hits like a small barrier around him and dissipates. He just tells them, it's like, nice try, but that's not going to work.
Oh god, that can't be good.
You know what makes it worse?
What?
The Megazords that they just got back in essentially the first episode, or reawakened in the first episode, were then all destroyed on episode 10. Just to show off how powerful Lord Zed was. And then, all of a sudden, Lord Zed gets betrayed and turns into pure energy, and the people behind it wanted to recreate the wave of energy that Zordon did to wipe out all evil in existence. But this was the reverse to wipe out all good in existence.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
That can't be good at all.
No. And that was essentially, and then the Rangers convinced Lord Zed to give it up, and that's how it all ended.
What?
Yeah, they convinced Lord Zed to give up the energy by saying, hey, even if you do end up wiping out all good, you won't even be around to fucking conquer all of it.
I am...
Which, in Lord Zed's case, valid reasoning, but why should he give a fuck?
Why should I care?
Yeah. Like, yes, the whole general idea is that greed, but what's more important? The person that became so powerful to wipe out all good, as in no Rangers will ever exist? Or the person who gives up all that power just because he wants to crack and conquer in the universe?
That... I think it's like this thought process of like someone like Shao Kahn.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. Like with Shao Kahn, in the event that he wins Armageddon in like Mortal Kombat Armageddon, he goes insane because he can't conquer anything anymore. So Lord Zed, if like my thought process is like, if he just wiped out all good, it would be kind of like the same situation where he basically like go insane because he's like, oh, what the hell do I do? Do I just conquer other evil people? Do I take pleasure in this or something like that?
Well, I mean, another BS thing is the fact that, so believe it or not, Lord Zed actually returned like 3 fucking times.
I remember...
Because the first time, he should have been wiped off from the fate of the universe because he was turned good thanks to Zordon's energy wave.
Oh, didn't that happen at the end of like Rangers in Space?
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. That was the ending of Power Rangers in Space.
Yeah, it's like him and Rita Repulsa got turned... He got turned into like your typical suburban dad, I think, in terms of appearance.
Yeah, yes, but if you want to go into 2023, he turned into Giga Chad.
What?
Well, not really, but it's more of like the general idea because they made Rita look a lot pretty, like a lot more beautiful.
You gotta send me that. Because that's...
Well, I mean, I will have to try to find it, but I could be wrong, but I'm just saying that if in this year, I wouldn't be surprised if everyone went back to it and be like, holy shit, fucking Giga Chad. It's like, no, just no. Alright. Another thing that I actually had an issue with is that when I was...
What point are we on now? 0.3, 0.4?
Okay, so real quick. That was just 0.1 because it was still on the series. Like I said, I had to rant.
God damn. Okay, we're on 0.2 then.
Yes. Okay, here's 0.2. So, if you're watching Cosmic Fury, you will notice that they're on a planet, and the planet looks nothing like Earth. You will notice that. But when they go into Megazord fights, the environment is switched to Earth.
Oh, because they're using the Super Sentai footage, right?
Yes. So they would be on... So there was this instance that I noticed it immediately. And it
Right.
was when they were on a planet where it looked kind of like Roman. It looked like Roman structure, architecture.
Architecture.
Yeah, architecture. And then when they got into a Megazord fight, there was fucking buildings with a shit ton of windows that you could only tell on Earth. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, this is just straight out of Super Sentai. And here's another thing. One of the enemies was on Lord Zed's planet where the Rangers went to go take the fight to him.
Right.
And this is like they said that this was like Zordon's planet. And the entire area was like shrouded in darkness, typical bad guy stuff. No. And like I said, it also has like the Roman architecture. Ugh, I can't English. It had a different setup in terms of its building and architecture.
Right.
And then they ended up fighting a monster again, switched immediately to fucking Earth, and the villain himself shot out ink into the air to make it cloudy and rain. Now, this is straight from the Uchu Sentai Q Rangers.
Okay.
And the way the fight was supposed to go is that this very same villain was actually a menace, because you would look at him, but you wouldn't be able to tell that almost every part of his body was covered in eyes, because he was basically a giant squid. He was essentially covered in eyes, so he was able to use the power of quote prediction to counter everything. When he shot the ink into the air to make it dark, he was making it rain acid rain, which would destroy the Rangers, Zords the longer the battle went on.
Right.
No, the Rangers were immediately like, holy shoot, we can't see anymore. It's getting so hard to see. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, you guys fought in way freaking worse conditions than this. Rangers have fought in worse conditions to this, and not once have they complained about not seeing. The only time they did was when they had ink on them where they couldn't see, because, it makes sense that they couldn't see.
Right.
Heavy rain does not do that. And I'm pretty sure there was even some Ranger scenes that fought in heavy rain, and they were still able to see. And they have helmets. And there it goes. Does it make sense?
It makes it difficult to make sense from, like, by all intents and purposes, from my point of view, a normie point, because I haven't watched. I've said this before. I haven't watched Power Rangers in forever.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it's coming down to like poor storytelling on that.
Very much.
It's like, oh yeah, this big old thing that's happening, we can't see. Well, have you ever tried like doing this? Like, that sounds like it would be the answer. Like, have you considered doing this?
Yeah.
But yeah, that sounds like really poor.
So it was really, really poor. Okay, that's point 2. Now this is point 3. And I noticed this fucking immediately, and it took me a second to realize it. They used monsters from different Super Sentais.
Nani?
Yes. And I noticed immediately, because on one of the episodes, I think it was like episodes like 4 or 5, because like I said, it was moving really fast pace. So it was on episode like 4 or 5, and they were just got access to a Dragon Zord.
Okay.
I love the Dragon Zord from Q Rangers. But when they were fighting the enemies, one of the enemies had a safe on them.
Alright.
That enemy is known to be part of the Kaito Sentai Looper Ranger versus the Kisatsu Sentai Path Ranger.
Is that the one where we have our background up for this
discussion? That is the Ranger series that my profile is based off of.
Yeah.
And then I noticed it, and I was like, hold on, that's a completely different monster than what they're dealing with. So I could understand it, because they're also dealing with a multi-billion company that has all these monsters and stuff that basically make infinite minions, essentially.
Yes.
But but every monster has essentially a theme. But not once does any of those, like, dangerous looking monsters go giant. Not once. Instead, it's different monsters that would go giant. And it's monsters that are and it's monsters that are to the company.
Huh.
Yes.
That
And I saw like a giant monster, and he was essentially had a safe on him, and that monster was known as a Ganglar.
a Ganglar.
Yes. In the Lupin Sentai one, or in the Lupin Ranger versus Patron Ranger, they are basically thieves and cops fighting each other while also fighting the monster mafia. That's essentially all I can really tell you without spoiling too much.
I am not going to question it at all.
You really just shouldn't.
Like, I played enough video games, I've seen enough like stories and all that. It's like, you know what? Just don't question it.
Yeah, like that. It was just don't question it. But that was essentially the monsters they were using. Granted, they only used the one monster, and it was a monster that I recognized immediately, and the safe gave it away. But then I noticed that they were using different monsters as well. Like they were using monsters from other Sentai series.
That should be just not allowed, right? I know that. But then again, this is like Power Rangers we're talking about here, so.
Yeah. Well, that was it for that point. It's a really short one, but still, like I just noticing different monsters when almost every monster had essentially a theme and would always challenge the Rangers.
Right.
The next, the morphing sequence, I did not like.
Well, morphing sequences are always like subjective and all that.
Okay, so the thing is that, I think I made 2 points in the morphing sequence. Because
Okay.
it was the morphing, like the whole like you know how every ranger does their whole thing, like SPD emergency. They basically have their badge like morpher, aim it like downward at an angle, move it back to like where it's like aligned to the shoulder, and then move it forward.
Yeah.
Essentially. And then that was SPD.
Yeah.
For Cosmic Fury, it was literally them going Cosmic Orb in their hands. Then it was terrible CGI where the orb would spin in their hands, do a lame ass flick into the air, and it would land into their morpher, and they would have to say Cosmic Fury and then activate their morpher.
I'm definitely gonna have to put that here because, like, the way you described it, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna need to see it.
And what makes it worse is that it flies into the air that's off screen.
What?
Yes.
Why?
And it just lands in the one spot they need it to.
You know what? I'm not gonna question it. I've been around long enough to, like, you know what? I'm not gonna question it.
Yes, and that was the second thing. The morphing chant was essentially a rewrite of Dino Fury. So, basically, for those of you guys who know, Cosmic Fury was essentially the continuation of Power Rangers Dino Fury. And for Dino Fury, it was literally it was something along the lines of like Dino Fury or some shit. Like I don't remember because I haven't really watched it in a hot minute. But I was able to tell that it was almost none of the chant was changed. The only thing that in the chant was changed was including Cosmic Fury instead of Dino Fury.
I'm definitely gonna have to see that.
Yeah.
Like, get a feel for it. Because
Yeah.
the last one I saw personally was, wow. I want to say Super
It was a hot minute. Hot minute.
Yeah, Super Samurai, I think, was the last one I saw.
Go Samurai, no. So I'll be searching it up the morphing sequence.
That was like, I can understand like the complaint about it, but I'll definitely have to see it first.
Yeah.
To, like,
another thing that I didn't like, and this also pertains to the morphing sequence, is that when they had other Rangers join in, right, the Rangers would all say Power Rangers Cosmic Fury.
Like even when they're doing like a crossover or what?
I'm just saying that even Billy Craston, Mighty Morphin Blue Ranger, Heckle, who was from Power Rangers Dino Charge, who is known as the Dark Ranger, who is from Power Rangers Dino Charge, would literally say Power Rangers Cosmic Fury. Yeah, it was. I didn't exactly like it.
It doesn't sound the best.
Yeah. And it's probably going to take me a minute to fucking find the Morphe sequence, so I'll just continue.
Continue.
Uh,
I'll find it later.
Yeah. So another thing that I didn't like was that when the Dino Fury Rangers escaped Earth, Lord Zed was able to capture Earth and almost all the Rangers because they were able to shut down their Zords. And this was another I didn't really add to the list, but I'll just make it into one point. And the one thing I didn't like was that like I get it, it's a giant drill, but Rangers aren't exactly over reliant on their Megazords. They're really not.
I mean, it'd be different from what you're describing if, like, Lord Zed was giant or he had abilities like, hey, if you don't...
No, he was a normal sized dude.
Yeah, I know. Like, if he's like, hey, if you don't surrender to me immediately this last second, I'm gonna blow up Earth or some shit.
Yeah, but like... But again, it just seemed like the Zord... Like, it just seemed like a lot of the Rangers were over-reliant on their Zords. Like, even Dino Fury, because, like, I get it, you're fighting an infinite army, and it would just be easier to use your Zords. No, fucking look at Super Mega Force. Super Mega Force literally fought a whole army, a whole armada on their own.
I mean, to be fair, didn't they also have a whole ass army with them?
No.
No? Goes to show how much I know. Oh. Ah, crap. Great. Hold up. Okay, yeah, I reconnected.
And that fight alone, and that like little fight alone would take up like 5 minutes.
Alright, you're gonna have to repeat that last
And that's just
point.
Super Mega Force.
Jesse, you're gonna have to... Ah, shit. Hold up, ladies and gentlemen. There you go.
I cut off, didn't I?
I actually
I see.
twice, so I had to leave it. Okay, I have no idea. My internet's been wonky like the last couple of days, so that's why.
Oh, gotcha.
So, yeah.
Anyways, basically, it showed that Super Mega Force in Gokaiger, which is the Super Mega Force Sentai version, fought quite a lot of grunts. And even in Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, they fought a lot of grunts too. There was even scenes where they had to fight what looked like almost 100 of them.
Right.
And they had to like pave ways through them because they just couldn't handle the numbers. But they never relied on Zords. Well, not heavily on Zords in terms of ground battle. Yeah, but it was just in that aspect where I felt like the Rangers were relying on their Zords too much.
I'll chalk it up to
Circumstances.
poor writing and circumstances.
Yeah. And then another thing was that they spoke about how there was multiple Rangers on Earth. Multiple Rangers.
All the Rangers.
Yes. But they only showed 4 out of all of them.
Which 4 did they show?
So one was known as Mechanic, and he was known as a red Ninja Steel Ranger, but a variation of it. Because in Ninja Steel, they have 3 different Red Rangers.
What? You know what? No,
Yes.
no, I'm not going to question it.
Well, it's fine to question it, because the first Red Ranger was the main character's father, but he was sealed away into the Ninja Star, and then it became his son.
Okay.
And then Mick, who wanted to help, just ended up getting access to the red Ninja Steel power.
Okay, who else?
Next was Heckle. Like I said, he was the Dark Dino Charge Ranger.
Okay.
And you have Billy Cranston, the Blue Mighty Morphin Ranger.
Okay, I remember him.
Mm-hmm. And then in one of the episodes, they have like this little Zord sequence where they bring out 4 Zords. And it was the Ninja Steel Zord. It was the Mighty Morphin Zord, the first one. Then it was Dino Charge's Zord. Or not Dino Charge, it was Beast Morpher Zord. And then it was the Mega Ship Megazord from Power Rangers in Space.
Oh. Okay.
But the fourth Ranger showed was the yellow Mighty Morphin Power Ranger.
I'm assuming they're taking that from the special that appeared on Netflix. Like that special movie where they're explaining, like, oh, what actually happened.
Once a Ranger, always a Ranger.
Like, what happened in lore and all that.
Yeah. Once and always.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the Yellow Ranger never spoke.
Yeah.
So you just see the Yellow Ranger in the background, said nothing.
Yeah,
There's still a different Ranger that showed up. But out of all those Rangers, only 4 of them appeared. And they even showed Megaforce and Beast Morphers. The only character you see from Beast Morphers was the lady who was in charge of the program for Beast Morphers.
You know what? I'm not even gonna question it again because I feel like I could create a better representation of this
at this point, from what you're telling me.
Yeah, and another thing was that I said that they brought only 4 different Zords when they've stated more than once that there was a bunch of fucking Rangers on Earth.
Well, to be fair, not every single one of those Rangers had their Zord still. But
that's where you're wrong. Because the Mighty Morphin Rangers, their first Zords were destroyed.
I remember.
But they brought it back. Because that was the Zord they used. Their first Megazord they used.
Of course. Alright. You know what? Poor writing. Poor writing.
Yes.
We're chalked that up too. A lot of poor writing.
Yep. Another thing I had was also part of the Zord thing. So, for those who don't know Uchu Sentai Q Rangers, Uchu Sentai Q Rangers has around 13 to 14 different Power Rangers. They got a full fucking squad.
They got a whole squad.
Yeah, they got a whole squad. And I thought it was criminal that they didn't even include one of them. And they had essentially 6 Rangers at max control a different Zord that didn't match their color scheme.
Gosh.
And then those Rangers would constantly interchange with different Zords. The only one that's constant was the Red Ranger.
Huh.
The Red Ranger was always constant in which sword that she would use. But everyone else would be using a different Zord. And they would mostly match their color scheme, but they would also give them the lame excuse of like, oh yeah, by the way, because there's like 12 different Megazords, we're going to give you guys remote access to every single one of them.
That...
And then, you know how like Megazords do like a finishing move?
Yes.
The finishing move they used would use a logo. Or sometimes, most of the time, some Zords would use a logo or something based off what they have. I noticed right away that when the Zords did their finishing move, the logo that would appear was Uchu Sentai Q Rangers.
And that's a different one than the one they were using.
Cosmic Fury, they're using Uchu Sentai Q Rangers logo because that was their logo. And Cosmic Fury has a different logo, which is dinosaur based.
Huh.
And dinosaur based does not mean that a giant, like, because I forgot the name of dinosaurs and shit. So please, I don't care if you're mad at me, essentially. But the Red Ranger was basically a Jurassic armadillo, essentially. It was a dinosaur that had a hard shell on its back and basically a mace for a tail.
Huh.
And that was the dino, right? That was the dinosaur that the Red Ranger was taking power from.
Hmm.
Red Ranger with the dinosaur power was using a Red Lion Megazord.
Wow.
A,
Okay.
a Green Ranger with the power of a Sabretooth was using a Chameleon Megazord that was green.
Hmm. Yes, yes, of course. Of
The
course.
Ash Ranger that was using the power of a T-Rex was using the power of the T-Rex was using a Dragon Megazord.
Truly, they are surely paying attention, not just copying and pasting because they thought it would work.
Mm-hmm. Like, they just kind of matched some of the Rangers with their color schemes, but most of the time it didn't work because they had a different theme to the Megazord they were using.
Ay,
But
ay, ay.
for Uchu Sentai, they were like, okay, every single one of us has these awesome little cubes that were essentially representing a solar system, a constellation. Because every one of those people were born in a solar system or universe that had that constellation.
Right.
So the Leo constellation would have the Leo Megazord, Red Lion. The Chameleon constellation would have the Chameleon Zord. The
Right.
Swordfish constellation, the Swordfish Zord, essentially. That was the constant theme for Uchu Sentai.
Right.
But they just had a mixed match of themes. And it was like, no, like it doesn't work. It makes no sense to have a mixed match of themes. The only thing you're trying to match is their colors. And even then, the colors for the different Rangers are interchanging. You would have the Black Ranger use a Silver Zord.
Yeah, that doesn't, technically make a whole lot of sense, right?
It doesn't. It doesn't. And that was about, and I think that was the last bad thing. Yeah, because I just said the other thing, which was the Uchu Sentai Q Rangers finishing move logo. And now let's go to the two good things. The two good things, technically three. So one of the good things that I actually liked about it was the evil ranger they had, which, surprise, surprise, who would have guessed they would have an evil ranger?
Of course, you always have to have an evil ranger.
Yes. So I'm sending I'm sending you a picture of the evil ranger they have. And
Alright.
this dude looked fucking sick when I saw him.
I am confused, but intrigued.
So, so this happens like literally episode 1. The blue Dino Fury Ranger would get poisoned to turn into an evil ranger because it was the same poison that turned a good ranger into a bad ranger. So
Right.
the blue ranger joined the bad guys team. And the bad guys gave him a cool looking fucking suit.
Okay.
Does that not look menacing to you?
It does look pretty menacing.
Compared to what we got for Cosmic Fury.
Yes, yes, it does.
Because when I saw that, I'm like, so you guys give the Evil Ranger the badass appearance, and then you guys give the Cosmic Fury Rangers, our heroes, a really, really bland outfit?
That is true. The outfit was pretty damn bad.
It was. Like, the whole suit itself just changed and was more bland. And then the helmets didn't change. The helmets stayed exactly the same. Yes, I get it, dinosaur theme. But you also have to remember, they are using quote quote cosmic power.
Phenomenal cosmic power.
Yes, and Kashmir, I'll send you another picture of the Uchu Sentai of them using the power of constellations. And you guys can see that Uchu Sentai had a much better costume compared to Cosmic Fury.
Alright. Let us see it. I'll pre-post. I'll be editing it in just so like, oh yeah, here's the image.
Yeah.
Hey, where is it, my good sir? For I see nothing.
Let me get it in there real quick.
All I see is darkness. Just
I almost spelled it correctly. That's crazy.
You almost spelled it correctly.
Yeah.
Just waiting
All
at
right.
this point. Do, do, do.
I'm sending you the image there.
Oh yeah, you showed me this.
Yeah. For those who see the picture, that is Uchu Sentai Q Ranger.
Yeah. Yeah, I see it.
And unlike Cosmic Fury, their costumes match their theme.
It actually does match the theme of Cosmic. So
It does.
let me see if I can get it. But it's like, yeah, that's kind of dumb. I won't deny that. It's like, oh yeah, here, let's have Cosmic themed. Barely change the outfits. In fact, keep the outfits primarily the same.
Well, the only thing on the outfits that remained the same was the helmet. Instead, they just took away from their previous outfit and just kind of made it just literally a like skin tight. Like just basically spandex with gloves, boots, I think
like
a
gold
cape.
trims, right?
Yeah, and gold trims.
Whereas
Like-
this is actually Cosmic.
Yeah, like this screams cosmic. This looks like a cosmic team.
Yeah.
And yes, I did say they were based on the power of constellations, but it doesn't change the fact that their uniform itself looks more like they're using the power of cosmics itself.
Yeah, you can tell there's like a very, like the patterns on their chests, yeah, like differ slightly, but you can obviously kind of tell,
Yeah.
like which each of them are going off, kind of like also by their helmet designs as well.
Yeah, because the helmet designs were based off the Zords or animal constellation that they came from.
Yeah.
So the only one that doesn't really fit this one would be the Gold Ranger in this team, which is known as the Libra. It was essentially the
scales.
constellation of balance.
Yeah, the scales. By the way, you want to make sure that Klein doesn't jump into this.
Are you talking about the?
He sent you a message right now.
Oh, don't worry. I specifically made this channel where only you and me can be in it.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. But yeah, so they gave the Blue Ranger a super cool outfit, and the regular Rangers just looked stupid.
Yeah.
And then there was another costume that I really liked, and sadly I couldn't find the picture of this because Cosmic Fury just recently came out, and not a lot of people were able to post up pictures of it at this time.
I could probably do it if... Actually, no, I can't, because I don't have Netflix like on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
Box. So
Technically, I have Netflix on my PlayStation and TV, but for some reason Netflix implemented this new system to where if the Netflix account does not register the TV itself, it won't let you use it.
What?
Yes, I'm not joking with you. I would go into Netflix via my PlayStation, and it would straight up say, Netflix does not recognize this TV. You would have to change the household or put down that you were traveling.
That doesn't make sense, but
On a home account.
That doesn't make sense, but alright.
Yes. So another one was Lord Zed's new form after absorbing the Morphing Masters. By God, if you didn't think that Lord Zed looked like a menace, after absorbing the Morphing Masters, you would see him as a fucking menace now.
Like, if I remember correctly, they had to dumb down him from when he originally came out. Because, like, the soccer moms and all that, whose kids were watching Power Rangers, thought that Lord Zed was, like, too threatening as an opponent.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah,
Lord Zed.
Yeah, he got dumbed down considerably from his original
Yeah.
incarnation.
But after absorbing the powers of the Morphing Masters, he looked like a menace.
Right.
Like his staff looked more powerful. He looked more powerful because he looked like he had a battle suit on.
Right.
Like he looked like an absolute menace. And the fact that he was able to push aside all the Rangers' attacks with little ease and then destroy the Zords, which were only available for like 10 episodes. Like, it was just to show how powerful Lord Zed was. And he destroyed, like, all 12 to 13 Zords. And like I said, one of the main things I had was that they didn't include one of the Zords of one of the Rangers from Uchu Sentai. And it was the Phoenix Ranger. Yeah, like it was the Phoenix Ranger they didn't include. And this also would lead into like one of the things I also had a beef with it.
Right.
So when I said that this series like was really fast paced, I meant it because for Rangers, they are constantly experiencing either new powers or learning more about their powers. As in, they find out, and they find out like outside of combat, it's like, oh wait, our Zords can combine. Why don't we try using this since this guy? You don't even know if it works, but let's give it a shot.
Fair.
No, and this one where they were fighting the squid, like I told you, shoots ink into the sky, makes it start raining.
Yeah.
They were like, guys, we're getting our ass handed to us. It's like, oh, I got it. Let's just combine again. And it's like, you don't even know if that works. It's like, and it just immediately works. With no lead up to or any build up to see if it would work or then figure out that that was a possible idea.
So wait, so what you're telling me is like, hey, we haven't tried combining our Zords yet, but they use the language, hey, let's combine our Zords again. Like, wait, what?
No, like they didn't. So what they did was like, hey, this guy is kicking our ass. And it's like, yeah, our two Zords are enough. It's like, okay, then we're just gonna combine our two Zords to make it stronger.
Right.
No one questions this. None of the teammates question this, and they just do it. Which in Uchu Sentai, there was a different way they did it. In Uchu Sentai, the main character, who was known as Lucky, came from the Leo constellation, Leo Red. He was known as the luckiest guy in the universe. His idea of finding out what a Megazord was literally all the Rangers falling into place on his Zord and found out, hey, I'm so fucking lucky that we just got this new Zord.
Right.
Which kind of makes it funny because it's just luck. But they were in the exact same encounter and they're like, hey guys, I just thought of this, but since our Zords can basically change parts, because that's what the Zords were designed to, that's what these Zords were able to do, change parts. So instead of having Chameleon for a left arm, they could have it for a left foot. And a Bull for a right arm could be on the right hand, or right foot, I mean. Or they can just swap it, so the Chameleon could be on the right, Bull on the left. Like, it was meant to where you had multiple different combinations.
Okay.
And this guy was like, hey, since our Zords can basically combine in different combinations, why don't we just try combining our Zords together? It's like, wait, is that even possible? It's like, I don't know, but I'm willing to bet in my luck if it was. But it is.
That doesn't sound like the world's best idea, but who am I to complain?
Especially to the luckiest guy in the universe.
Fair.
And when I say luckiest guy in the universe, I mean this dude in like episode 2 of Uchu Sentai gets sent into orbit, was about to die, and was like, I don't want to die, I still want to become a ranger. He wasn't a ranger at this point. And the Leo constellation gives him the power to be a ranger, starts a meteor shower, and he re-enters orbit without a single hair on him burnt, riding a meteorite into the battlefield.
You know what? I'm not going to question it. I don't question anything anymore.
Again, this is Super Sentai.
Yep.
But they just immediately combined the Zords without questioning about if it could combine at all.
Sounds like
they immediately they immediately think that it would work.
I don't know, man. That sounds like perfect logic to me in this crazy world.
And they didn't even get a chance to show off their ultimate Megazord, which is Q-Majin. And I showed you this one, where they basically had all the Zords combined into one, which included the Phoenix Zord. And if you want, I can send you another. I can try to find the picture of Q-Majin for you, so you can see of what their ultimate Megazord would look like.
That's fair if you want to. I will not stop you, good sir.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. But while I'm trying to look for it, another one of the good things that I found of the series was one of the lines. One of the lines was a comeback, and this made me laugh. I laughed really hard for this comeback. It took me a second to get back.
Was it so dumb it looped around to being hilarious?
No, it was just straight up brutal.
What was this comeback then, good sir?
So, like I said, the best comeback came from not one of the Ranger teams, or not from the Cosmic Fury team, but it came from Heckle, who is the Dark Ranger from Dino Charge.
Okay.
And in this scene, you see that he was essentially being a spy on the enemy. He was spying on the enemy, trying to get inside.
Right.
After he was found out, the Rangers save him and break him out of prison, and the main monster, or the monster that he was trying to get on the good side with, immediately, because this monster was, a girl, so she was she had like a crush on him, trying to date him. She asked him, "Are these your friends, Heckle?" You know what this dude replies with?
What?
You want to know what having friends is like?
I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if I should feel bad or anything.
Well, you should, because the lady monster's secretary, essentially, literally responded with, "My guy, that is brutal."
I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to respond to that because it doesn't sound like it was bad in any way.
No, because it was a really good comeback.
How though?
Because the monster asked Heckle, who was with the Ranger teams. This dude was essentially he was evil at first, but became good.
Right.
So the monster asked him, "Are these your friends?" implying the Ranger team, and he immediately shoots back by saying, "You want to know what having friends is like?" as a question.
Yeah.
Implying that she had no friends.
Oh.
Now do you get what I mean?
I kind of get it, but it's like, should I feel bad or sad? This is like, what the fuck?
Well, the lady monster immediately gasped, and like I said, her secretary immediately says, "My guy, that is brutal." So with that comeback alone, he just slayed a monster. And my complaint was the fact that this amazing comeback that made me laugh, because it caught me so off guard, because I was waiting for a cheesy comeback, like every Ranger series is nowadays, was immediately destroyed by the Cosmic Fury team by saying something along the lines of about how you're going to feel that we're going to make you physically feel how brutal that comeback was. Essentially ruining the comeback.
If like dumb pun ruins this.
Yes. So I actually have Netflix on my phone, so let me see if I could actually find that little scene real quick. Because I stopped on that scene.
You're gonna have to send it to me, or I could try and find it.
What's your friends, Heckle?
Wanna know what having friends is like?
I could.
Yeah, the Red Ranger responds with. So after the guy just says, "My guy, that is brutal," the Red Ranger immediately responds with, "Just a taste of the burn you're about to feel."
Oh my gosh.
Immediately ruining the comeback.
Yeah, I can tell that. I am more annoyed at it already.
So let me go ahead and play this here.
And you? Are these your friends, Heckle?
Wanna know what having friends is like? My God, that just...
It's just a taste of the burn you're about to feel.
Nope, yep, that's bad.
like I said, like it was a good comeback, then immediately ruined.
Yeah, that was ruined.
Like you have to admit that was a really good comeback.
Uh,
Well, it was good for what the Ranger series shows so much.
like I was like the way you described it almost made it sound like he was asking like his genuine question.
No,
And
like he said it like he was shooting
it's
back.
like I don't even know if like it's just like you want to know what having friends feels like. Like I don't know if I. You know what? I'm not even gonna question it further. I'm just gonna leave it as is.
Well, it's much better when you watch the scene yourself because then you can hear the actual emotion behind it. Because it's different when I'm trying to explain it to you. But when you hear it from the characters themselves, like one, the comeback just caught me completely off guard. And the comeback was like it caught you so off guard. Like so you remember Kingdom Hearts Dream Birth by Sleep, right?
Yeah, I remember it.
Do you remember the comeback that Ventus shot at Vanitas?
Oh, it's like I think Venus is like I remember it like one of it was like Venus like it's all about your friends, isn't it? And Ventus shouts back, "At least I have some."
Yes, it was a comeback that catches you so off, like such surprise like that.
I could kind of see it.
Like, where you like hear it and you have to push pause to collect yourself because one, it was just so out of nowhere, and two, it was just perfectly timed.
I feel like it was, I suppose.
Yeah. But yeah, like sadly, I can't really send it to you because Netflix is really stingy with their shit.
I'll see if I can find it and like post it, and then I'll see if I could try to get it in here.
Right.
But
they're okay. So I can continue playing it because they're about to say their chant, so you can hear what I mean when I say like their chant was like different, but not that different. So. That was it.
that was it.
Cosmic Orb, Link to Morphin Grid. Boom.
Boo.
Power Rangers Cosmic Fury.
Boo. Well, to be fair, I have to see it first before I start saying boo, because I'll say this, like sometimes like the poses are a lot more like dynamic and all that. So I'll save judgment for now until I actually see the morphic sequence.
Right.
Because if I like, you could say like some of them kind of look dumb, but or some of them pretty like look cool. I'll definitely say I am biased here, with I say I like Dino Thunders.
Oh, Dino Thunders was so good.
Yeah, like I like Dino Thunders, like posing like they go into the dynamic pose and then they go into the like the flip into the cracking of the earth, but they're with the pose and like the dinosaurs roaring in the background. That was cool. And like I like all that, like Jungle Fury I really like when they would do it.
Yeah.
Like they would pose and then they would run and then like they would jump into their spirit animal or like their I say spirit animal, but it's like a combination.
Animal. It was like it's animal spirit was what they called it, but
yeah.
Okay, so I found the scene on Netflix because Netflix also has Dino Fury. For those of you who want to watch Cosmic Fury, I highly recommend you watch Dino Fury first because, like I said, Cosmic Fury is right after Dino.
Yep.
So, full volume.
For real?
Just listen to this.
Yes! Who's gonna stop me from tearing the city apart? Oh, we are the
Power Rangers.
Oh, come on, I was gonna say that.
It's morphin' time. Dino Fury Heat. Smooth. Activate. Link to morphin' grid.
Okay.
Well, it's a continuation by all intents and purposes, even though it shouldn't be.
It's exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
So for those of you wondering why the guy said smooth, that's because this is the second episode. In the first, 2 minutes of the episode, they are going through how to be in sync with their morph.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Yeah. That's why when the guy was like, they get their Dino Fury key on, the guy who was the Red Ranger looks like both of them and sees that they're in the same pose as him. And he just goes smooth, as in they finally did it right for once, and then they continue to morph.
Huh.
But yes, continuation makes sense, but that only makes sense. Just because it's a continuation doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that the sequence will stay the same. A good example was literally Turbo to Space.
That felt
Or
like
better yet, Zeo to Turbo.
And most people don't like how they went from Zeo to Turbo, but that was more along the lines of the aesthetic.
Yeah, but right now I'm just kind of talking about how their Morphe sequence goes. Because for Mighty Morphin, their costumes didn't really change. They're still the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. They didn't use T-Rex power. They used Dragon power. They used a different animal that I can't remember right now. But they used different powers, which is essentially the same suit.
Yeah, they use the same suit, but I believe they switched from. I know the Red Ranger, I believe, switched from T-Rex to Tyrannosaurus to ape. I believe he used a gorilla. But
it was from T-Rex to dragon to then gorilla, I think. Because don't forget, Mighty Morphin has 3 different seasons. They have 3 different series.
Yeah.
So when their first dinosaur Zords were destroyed, I think they immediately got access to the Thunder Zords, which is the Shogun Megazord, which would turn the T-Rex into a dragon. And then those Zords were overpowered. And that's when they were like, okay, these Zords were overpowered. We now officially lost our powers. We need to find a new source of power, which would then essentially take them to a ninja journey, essentially, and then we would awaken their powers in terms of animals.
Yeah, I remember.
Where I think the Red Ranger was a T-Rex, or not T-Rex, but I think gorilla. Something similar, because again, it's been a while for me.
Yeah. My memory is almost going purely based off the movie. Because
the movie is still a continuation. It was just essentially a rewrite in a way.
Yeah. So, discuss that, but
Right.
all your complaints for rant and talk.
Those were all my points, but like I said, going back to the morphing sequence, almost every Ranger, even though a continuation, had a different morphing sequence.
Yeah.
Mighty Morphin, it made sense since they were still Mighty Morphin. When they went to Zeo, instead of showing T-Rex power or anything, they said Zeo power, and even their morphing sequence was different.
Yeah.
Then from Zeo to Turbo, they said going Turbo, so their chant was different.
Or it's going turbo or shift into turbo, I believe it was.
It was shifted to Turbo, and then from Turbo to Space, it was Let's Rocket.
Yeah.
Yes, it's still nice and easy, but it's different to show that it's a different team of Rangers getting new powers.
Yeah.
Which Cosmic Fury completely threw that out the window. Yes, they're still using dinosaur powers, but you have different animal Zords that you could base it off of. The first Mighty Morphin Megazords, the first Mighty Morphin team, they were based off their Zords. It wasn't the power coin that was giving them power, it was their Zords giving them power. Which is why when their Zords disappeared, they lost their power.
Yeah. But you can't. like they were trying to tell like a continuation for like each series to each one, whereas now like you get cool callbacks and references, and maybe the occasional team up.
Yeah, but even then, the team ups hardly ever happen, and then when they do happen, you don't get to see them.
Pretty much. Like sometimes I go straight to DVD. Like
Yeah.
like the one with RPM and Samurai.
Yeah, so like that one went straight to DVD, but the thing is that they gave a super lame excuse on why the Rangers couldn't see them face to face.
Yeah.
As in already showing that the actors themselves would voice for it, but didn't want to actively show.
That's dumb, but alright.
Yeah. And then you have like some Rangers where it makes sense. Like, sadly, Tommy Oliver, Jason David Frank passed away, and they had Once and Always, the Power Ranger movie Once and Always. They had the Mighty Morphin Green Ranger. Sadly, Tommy Oliver couldn't be that Ranger.
Yeah.
Which it was meant as a tribute to both Tommy, or Jason David Frank, and the Yellow Ranger, which I forgot her name, but I do know that she also passed away. It was a tribute to those two actors that passed away and started off as Power Rangers to kick off their series.
Yeah. Trina Kwan, or at least that's the official.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just how it be at times. That's just how it be.
Yeah. Sadly, it is.
So, I guess we can end it there on this somewhat dour note.
Yeah. I'm sorry to bring it down like that, but yeah.
Alright, with that, everyone, that will be the end of this episode. We will try.
I will no longer hold him hostage. It's fine.
He's held me hostage for an hour.
It's fine. He's free now. He can stop whining about it.
He's like, I am no longer the Red Ranger holding you hostage.
Yeah, no, I am the Lupin Ranger who's a thief. I stole the channel for the day.
He's no longer that. He is back to Kronk.
Damn. It felt good while it lasted.
So we'll see that next time for I don't know, maybe another death battle, or when we want to talk about waifus or something.
Yeah, some random stuff where I'm not just ranting. And Kashmir, I just sent you a really bad picture of Q Majin.
Okay, yeah, I see it. The hell is this?
Yeah. That's essentially the final Zord for Uchu Sentai.
I'm reminded of the combination Zord from Ninja Storm.
Oh, Royal? Is it Ninja Storm or is it Royal Sentai King Oja? Which they have 20 different Zords in that one.
Oh my god, no, we're not going to get on that right now.
We're not going to get on that, but I'm still putting that thought in your head.
Alright, we'll catch you all later. Jesus Christ.
Alright, bye.